We have yet another episode being done today for the past podcast. If you're tuning in, I do appreciate it. If you'd like to check out any previous episodes, go to Spreaker.com/Brite Podcast. Nonetheless, let's continue the show. Hello, what's going on, y'all? Past podcast back at it again. Decided to do another episode, may as well, since I got some thoughts to share. And we're gonna just go ahead and jump right on into it. I'll be the first to admit I was really in between about whether I wanted to do this episode or not. But after kind of looking over it and breaking it all down and realizing like someone may have experienced this or could have gone through it in their own facet. I've done this enough where it's not a big deal. As a matter of fact, I did it last Thursday. So a topic of this sort is merely second nature to me, but to some people it's a hard thing. If you are looking at the images, and I'm sorry, before we continue, I always like to give a shout out to Blue Microphone for the Yeti. I always put that link in the description each day for these podcasts. And we are in the midst of our podcast every day in April. And these are uploaded on Spreaker.com. So if you do want to check these out, check out my episodes, I will provide that link. That link is provided in the intro if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and continue with the topic of discussion. How many of you take yourselves out on a date? I'm not expecting anybody to physically show hands since this is a podcast, but we'll continue and I'll break down why I'm asking that question. For whatever reason, and I've come to grips with realizing this, it's hard to be by yourself or be on your own, or quote unquote be single. But it's even harder when you don't do things to not get so engulfed by being single. I was ready to use succumbed, but I probably would have used that word wrong, so I just avoided that word. So any of my editors, readers, bloggers, writers, if y'all had caught that one, just hold it to my head, not my heart. But we have a tendency, realistically, to become consumed in things that we shouldn't allow to consume us, but we do. Does that justify? Does being single justify not acknowledging that you can do other things while being single? Absolutely not. I will come clean and sing, and I thought this would have been off, but oh well. Yay, that probably was very loud. What I want to address, or what I want to point out, is it is not the worst idea, or it is not the end of the world if you don't take yourself out on a date, or if you don't do something by yourself. I feel like there's this strange or odd analogy that we have to be with someone when we're doing things. And for some reason, it's like we can't go out by ourselves and enjoy life or live life or embrace life. I don't know what has given us this mindset, but we're here now. And it's weird to me because at one time people could just go out, do something, and it doesn't have to mean anything. And the person who I'm referring to in regards to talking about this podcast probably won't hear this podcast, which is completely fine. But it kind of triggered me to want to discuss this topic during my April flow of podcasts. They posted a status. I won't mention any names. I won't really try to give too much of a detail, but if it's put two and two together, then oh well, we'll just let math speak for itself. But The person posted a status mainly about being on a date or taking themselves out. And their first thought or their first observation was that everyone was looking at them. Now, I won't say that as being an insecurity or an exposure of themselves, but I will say we as people by nature can make a comfortable situation uncomfortable in a matter of a second. If we feel in our minds, or if we feel overall that just taking that moment and acknowledging that it exists is going to force us to believe that it exists. And here's why I'm saying that, because I know a lot of you are probably listening like, okay, what does that even mean, and how does that even make sense, or where did you come up with that? If you were to be in a car and you were driving somewhere, as long as you have an idea of where you are possibly going, you're okay. But once that moment arrives when you acknowledge that you're lost, there's a difference between the acknowledgement of being lost and not knowing where you are, but then also kind of having a geographical idea of where you are. So to kind of elaborate that a little bit more, once that acknowledgement occurs of, okay, I don't know where I am, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know how to get where I'm going, the panic attack is going to flip right away. And it's not a full panic attack, but you're going to panic, you're going to freak out, you're going to stress, you're going to worry. Some people probably say, no, I'm not like that, I'm good, I can get through stuff like that. If that's you, then this may not be what would apply to you. But as far as a date goes, or as far as going out, it's a little different. So I'll kind of do a comparison, as I call it, apples and oranges. And that basically is, whenever I go out or whenever I'm doing something, if it's by myself, at no point do I sit and make it like it's the worst thing in the world. Now, also to add to the other side of that, I make sure that I don't present myself or make it as though, oh, it's 1,000 people in this joint and we crunk and it's turned up. No. Brian is sitting, relaxing, enjoying himself, and taking a much needed R&R. The last couple of months, and I will be the first to admit, it's just been kind of how I've been. I don't post and I don't share every piece of information on social media anymore. If I really wanted you to know, or you really wanted to know what's going on, you have a way of being able to get in contact with me and figure out what's been going on or how I'm doing. Social media can kind of portray us as if we're out and about, we on the go, we making moves, we rolling. Half the time, most people just getting a little bit of an R&R just to kind of relax, take a mental break, or just enjoying life and what comes with it. And sometimes I feel as though it's not intentional, but it's just part of who we are. We forget that. I truly think, and this is even for myself, and this is why next month, April is going to be, and I'm being straight up with you all, April is going to be my podcast month. I'm going to do podcasts. I'm going to do episodes. I'm going to give you good quality. I'm going to talk about different things that are going on in life. It's the way to do it. The other side of that, however, is good timing. Come next month, and I don't know why. Like, it's so funny I can hear stuff, but you all can't hear it. But I don't know. Come next month. Next month is going to be about Brian. And yeah, I'm guilty. Yes, I'm vulnerable. True, I'm supposed to be doing the past podcast and hiding the identity. But no. I need to focus on me. Because I've realized between reading my sister, I call her my sister, my twin. She's practically a friend that acts as family. between reading blogs that she's talked about and conversations we've had and things that I've picked up on, I need to truly just do for myself and enjoy it. I may have a sidekick or I may have someone roll along with me. However that goes is what it is, but I'm not, it's not going to be, I just truly have the I want to be selfish mode kicking in right now. And I could sit and break down and invest time in saying, here's why I need to do this. But I've started to come to grips and realizing also I don't owe anybody an explanation. And I've been, for the past couple of years, and I won't say the past few years it hasn't been much of an explanation. But before that, there was a point where I felt like I needed to explain and give a reason of what was going on and why it was being done, when in reality, it didn't really make a difference. And I'm just ready to venture out and enjoy more of life and take on more of what's coming down the pike for me and coming along with the territory of my routine. And I really, have tried to claim I'm okay, and this is the other thing, and I'm probably gonna be very blunt but very Brian with what I'm about to say. I've tried my hardest to carry myself like everything's okay. It's not. Can it get better? Yes. Is it gonna get better tomorrow even if everything was all right? No, because there'll be more stuff I'm gonna find. But am I bad off now than I was, say, a couple of years ago? I'm doing much better. I always emphasize and mentally put myself in the place of remembering where I was, coming. And I'm almost nearing my point of remembering, of thinking in my head, well, I remember 3 years ago this went on. And a lot has changed. So it's moments and it's little things that I value and I learn or remind myself not to take for granted. So I sidebarred and tangent a little bit out of that blog. See, I'm still used to writing. Out of that podcast. But if you take yourself out on a date, it's not the end of the world. Number one. Number two, if you go out and there's a slight thought of acknowledgement that it may not feel comfortable, that's okay. The reason why it's okay is because it's not like you're out and it's not like you're out and you're cheating on somebody. Like, I don't know, and this is kind of an add-on to this, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm single, so me saying this as a single person might sound weird, but I'm gonna say it because I can. If you're involved with someone, you can go out on a date as well by yourself, and it doesn't have to be the end of the world. The key factor is, and this is my biggest takeaway. If the phone is there and you're going to do anything phone wise, don't dominate your time to yourself in your phone. I'll be the first to, and I'm coming clean with what I was saying this, because I really am talking about this from just my experiences. Yeah, I may text people and I may have conversations while I'm out with, I may be out by myself and I'm having different conversations, to kind of kill time. But I'm not going to make that time dominate the fact that I have the opportunity to enjoy being on my own and just getting 5 minutes of just breathing. That sounded way different. Sorry. All right. I'm saying this because it's me being me. I'm still adjusting and getting through the process with learning my podcasting setup. I'm getting better. It's gotten better. If you all have been able to notice, as you probably just heard, you hear a lot more than you normally wouldn't hear, but it is what it is. But once in a while, just go out and do something for yourself. And doing something for yourself, usually for me, is always something techie related. Like right now, I've become a graphic junkie where I want to start getting into graphic design a little bit more. Working on tools to kind of get that to the next level. So slow progress, looking for major results, not forcing it, just kind of gonna let it happen. I really just want to say to anyone who has that slight scare or that slight bit of worry in what they're doing, and this is probably gonna sound super blunt, but I don't even care. No one gives a fuck what you're doing. They really don't. If you think they do, you're lying. People are going about their lives, living through their days, trying to get their routine down, and that's mainly the basis of it, is to just live. Not to live through others or not to worry about what other people are doing. The most awkward thing to have occurred, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to shut up, because I feel like if I go into this could turn into like a 45-minute podcast easily. But if you're with someone or if you're by yourself, once in a while checking out and seeing what other people are doing or what's going on around you, that's going to occur. It's second nature, is in your DNA. You can't really break or bend that personal trend. The problem becomes when you're engulfed or you're invested more in what's going on around you instead of what's going on within you. Let that one marinate for a second. I just want to I gave a little bit of a space there, just kind of let you sit and hear what was said. If you're caught up, and this is even with, and I'm using myself with these examples to really get you to understand. If I sit here and do a podcast and I spend 35 to 40 seconds worrying about the things going on around me instead of focusing on the podcast, the first question you all are going to say is, well, are you talking to us in regards to your podcast, or are you talking about and acknowledging the things going on around you that don't really have anything to do with your podcast? So I'm leaving you all with, that's kind of my message I'm leaving you all with in regards to self-dating. Plan a date, go somewhere, enjoy yourself. If you happen to have someone that comes along or tags along and hangs out, that's even better. And don't let that expose or violate your discomfort, especially if you're an introvert. And I'm not throwing shots or throwing shade. And the only reason I say that is because whether people believe it or not, I have introvert tendencies. There are moments that my extrovert side shows up, which is typically socially. But as a whole, I like to kind of just be, like if I'm like right now, I'm chilling by myself, relaxed, enjoying my day. So that's going to kind of be my closeout. Enjoy you, enjoy your time, enjoy your life. And if enjoying yourself means going out and doing something nice for yourself by taking yourself out on a date, go. And if going out can include, hey, I'm going to buy this and do this and get that, do it. Just make sure you got everything in order as far as bills and finances. So I'll go ahead and stop here. As always, thanks for tuning in. Every listen, every piece of feedback, everything is acknowledged and greatly received with open arms. And with that being said, y'all take it easy. Past Podcast signing out. Peace. We've done it once again. We finished yet another episode. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you're not following on Twitter or on Facebook, please look up Past Podcast. That's PASS Podcast, one word. I am accepting inquiries for any topics or concerns at pastpodcastbt@gmail.com. And just continue to support. I appreciate all the support and everyone listening and tuning in. Until next time, y'all take it easy.